You're watching Meet the Movie Press, and coming up, we're going to be talking about Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers, Cowboy Ninja Viking, the Men in Black spinoff, and a tiny little movie called Black Panther. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Meet the Movie Press.
Welcome back, Jeff.
It's good to be back, Simon.
It's good to have you back.
It's good to see you, buddy. Even though we ran into each other a couple times this week.
We did twice.
That's right. It was a lucky week for me.
And you look kind of disappointed to see me each time. I was like, oh, they'll let anybody into these things. Clearly, they've lowered the entry standard.
It's like, geez, I guess I'm not as special as I thought. I am Jeff Snider, though, editor-in-chief of the Tracking Board, tracking-board.com, and I am at the Insnider on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere.
Ooh.
With me, as always,
Simon Thompson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ShowbizSimon, and there's a Facebook page. This is Simon Thompson.
Yes, there is. I've never actually been to that Facebook page.
I've invited you to like that page several times.
Yeah, we encourage you. Just like it and never look at it again.
Decline.
Man, Dad says hello. Dad's in town this week.
Sweet.
That's right.
He's good?
Yeah, he's
awesome.
Good. Cool. All right. Where do you want to start, dude?
Okay.
What should we...
Well, we say we saw each other a couple of times this week. Let's talk about where we saw each other. We can't say too much.
Right.
But we can say
the embargo, the review embargo is still in place.
It is for a little independent film from a burgeoning franchise,
burgeoning Marvel Studios.
Yes. I think they're
so I saw you at the premiere.
Do good things. Yep.
You look dapper.
Thank you.
This is where you say, so did you, Jeff.
Yeah, you looked awesome.
I looked just great,
you
guys.
So good. In fact, I was like, that's like an attractive Jeff Snider.
I got all dolled up for Black Panther, and thank God, because
and you kept your popcorn bucket.
We had some great seats. Jesus Christ, this was a murderer's row of filmmakers. They put them in the press section. I swear it was just for tweets like mine and a couple other people who noted this.
A lot of people did tweet it.
Yeah, it was like Jon Favreau, James Gunn, John Watts, Kumail and Emily, who just got nominated for Oscars, which is awesome. God, who else was there? Taika, Ava DuVernay, Josh Gad.
Yep.
It was wild.
Everybody, literally everybody. Martin Lawrence came
Martin
out.
Lawrence was
Martin
there,
Lawrence
sitting next to Boris Kid. He got the money seat next to Martin Lawrence.
He literally never. Martin Lawrence never turns out at these celebrity and showbiz events.
Yeah,
and he was there.
Maybe he's going to be in an upcoming Marvel movie. Who knows? You know, they invite friends of the Disney family. But yeah, I would actually pay to see a movie with Boris Kidd of The Hollywood Reporter and Martin Lawrence. Bad Boys for Life.
Yep. we can get to that later.
We will be talking about that film and that franchise. But yes, so Black Panther, we went to the premiere. No party, though, for the journalists. The journalists are not invited to the after parties for Marvel. I mean, I guess I'm just glad to be there. But it is quite the circus to navigate for no party, you know?
Yes, certainly it was security was high. It was one of the biggest premieres outside of something, certainly in center of Hollywood there at the Dolby. Right. It was one of the biggest premieres that I've seen for that carpet was huge.
Right, they had a whole tent. They don't usually have tents for the Marvel ones.
No. But it was awesome.
Hey, I'm glad I was there because it was definitely cool to be in the room for that, to see that cast come out on stage. Everybody looked amazing. It was a special night. You could feel the electricity in the room, and you know, judging by the reactions, which were allowed right after the screening, this movie is going just to do monster numbers. Yeah,
I mean, it was already pitched to sort of open around the 120, and people are saying now 150. I think that
go up.
Having seen this and the response being so genuine, I think 150 is easy.
That's like the floor.
We could see, you know, 160, 165.
I think you see 180. People are starving for movies. There's nothing.
No,
what has come out the last 6 weeks?
That is true.
I guess I, Tonya is like still expanding. It seems like that. I saw that movie like 5 months ago or
Maze
something.
Runner came out.
Still expanding this weekend, I, Tonya. Go check it out if you haven't seen that. But yeah, there hasn't been much for January and the first couple weeks of February.
Yeah. It's been very dry, but also, I mean, aside from the fact there has been a dearth of movies, it's a very strong movie.
Okay, so yeah, we can sort of keep keep it.
We can say
slim.
what we've tweeted.
Exactly.
We can't do an in-depth, and we won't do an in-depth review.
So go ahead.
Because we want to keep being invited to these things. Yeah, I mean, one thing that surprised me was the fact that it was so smooth as a movie. Comic book movies in general, and superhero movies, they tend to be quite... even though they can hold together really nice, they try to do too much, and it's very stop-starty. It's here's an action thing, here's not an action thing, and it's a little. There's even when it's done really well, it's a little bit of a stop-start feel to this. This feels ridiculously smooth, right from the very beginning, right through to the very end. It has a really nice ebb and flow and tone to it. There was the opportunity for this film to be potentially slightly preachy. Because a lot of important issues and a lot of conversations have in the real world and obviously within the Marvel Universe, it never comes off like that. It makes it look done effortlessly, but clearly a lot of work and effort has been put in to making it look so effortless. This is also a Black Panther movie, where Black Panther is not necessarily the person that steals every scene. That belongs to some pretty much at the moment unknown people who nail every second they are on screen. They absolutely deliver. It genuinely is, from start to finish, an absolute joy.
Did you think it was the best Marvel movie the way a lot of people are saying?
It's in my top 3. People were saying. I mean, I don't. Sometimes it's certainly up there. It's in the top 3. It's potentially 2. For me, I think still Ant-Man is currently my favorite Marvel movie.
Mine as well.
But it's very close to that. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it again.
Top 3 is fair.
It's definitely top 3, potentially top 2.
It's good. It is definitely an above average Marvel movie, which is what I tweeted.
And as a movie. Outside of Marvel, if you take it as a standalone movie,
of course, it is
a great movie.
When if you guys have ever been to the Snider.blogspot.com, where I do my movie rankings, I have the standouts, the good, the disappointments, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure that Black Panther will fall on the upper end of the good list. I mean, I don't know if I'd put it as standout yet. I mean, I'd like to see it again too, because there was just so much to take in. I had no problems with the story stuff, which is typically my Marvel beef. All that, I thought, like you said, it was very smooth. Ryan Coogler did a very good job, and the cast is fantastic, particularly the women of Wakanda.
Yeah,
Letitia Wright, I thought was fantastic. Lupita Nyong'o is really good.
We both spoke to her this week because I was there producing the room.
What,
we had a suite for E! News.
You're giving up my names now.
Oh,
you're giving that's a reveal on the tracking board.
I didn't say you spoke to her about that.
Ah, okay. Well, anyway,
it may have been a conversation in the corridor.
She is wonderful in the movie. And I mean, when you have people like Angela Bassett and Forrest Whitaker, So like you said, if I have a criticism, it is that Chadwick and Black Panther kind of gets overshadowed in his own movie. Also because the villain is so good. And you know who else is really good? I don't know if I'd say my favorite performance of the film, but damn close. Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
So when you have like all these people, it kind of like Black Panther stood out in Civil War, you know, because he was new and exciting and all that stuff.
Yep.
That's all. That's all I'll say.
There's a couple of people reacting already. Again, it's not a full review of the movie because that is embargoed. We will talk about this more again in a couple of weeks. We got Zaya saying could make 175, 200 mil plus opening weekend. I think certainly 175, 180 is doable. Zenith says 180, 200 million US opening weekend. These are not ridiculous figures. Sometimes people get excited about this. It is going to be huge.
You can feel it. You can just feel it out there.
The word of mouth is going to be so strong, and the appeal for this movie is going to be so strong. Film nerd Jamie says that every new Marvel film is always the best one yet from some web guys. Yeah, you're 100% accurate, which is why I don't say that. This is one, though, this is a Marvel movie that, as much as I enjoyed things like Thor Ragnarok, which I loved, I didn't feel the need to then go, actually, I want to see that again soon. I genuinely cannot wait to go and see this movie.
I did not have the reaction where I was crying or anything like that, but I fully understand the people who did, particularly the people of color who see themselves represented up on that screen. That's going to mean so much, I think, and I won't take anything away from those reactions because those are fully honest and earned.
What was very interesting was the fact that when I took a friend of mine who is a British actor of color, because he grew up with Black Panther. This was a representation. He's been so excited about this movie. So I thought, well, I could take anybody to see this, but I took him. I was not the only person I could see who'd obviously taken somebody with them. That genuinely, this film, it wasn't that they want to go to a premiere. They wanted to go and experience this film because it meant something to them. And that is not necessarily that it has to be someone of color. It's someone who is a woman or whatever. But everybody who wanted to be there was really wanting to see this connected in a very personal way, rather than it just being another comic book movie, which I think in itself is very rare for this kind of thing.
Yes. We anything else to discuss on Black Panther? Should we move on?
Let's move on from that, I think.
Yeah.
And we're going to get some... I've actually... before we do...
I did a line there.
I did a piece on Forbes just yesterday about a charity based out of Chicago that is actually looking to raise $100,000 so that they can take young children of color in major cities around America
see Black Panther,
to
right?
see Black Panther. Yeah. What they're looking for is... They have the $100,000 total, but they want enough for a ticket, $15 for each child, and to pay for their transport. $15 is then for them to have some refreshments, because the ticket's one thing, the refreshments are ridiculously expensive. And if you're going to see this movie, get a drink and get some popcorn or do whatever. So I think that's totally reasonable. So if you want to find out actually how to donate, you don't have to donate a huge amount of money, but if you want to do that and potentially help a child who wants to see this representation of themselves on the big screen, all the info is on my piece on Forbes. I've given them $100 of my own money. I think it's really important to do this. And I'm going to support the campaign in any way that I can. I think if you are able to do that, I think please do that too. So the information is
my
on Forbes.
co-host is such a good guy. Yes, please do give. That is a great cause. All right, let's move on to Men in Black.
Yeah.
There's a Men in Black spin-off coming.
Yeah.
It will not star Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. So is it a spin-off or is it a reboot?
Well,
I don't know.
they're calling it a spin-off right now.
Is Emma Thompson... Like, if anybody comes back, it would be Emma Thompson, right?
Emma Thompson, I could also see... I mean, if they wanted to take it back and not have Tommy Lee Jones in it, maybe go back to Brolin and have a spin-off from that period.
Interesting.
Rather than current times. Obviously, we don't know much about the project. We know that
Right.
F. Gary Gray is going to be helming it.
So what do you think of that choice? F. Gary Gray has certainly, earned another huge movie after the last, what was it? Which one did he do? Fast 7?
Yeah.
Fast 7
Yeah,
or
Fast
Fast
7.
8?
It was Fast 7 because Fast 8 was the one that came out this year.
Right.
Yeah, great. I mean, I personally, I've rewatched the Men in Black movies, and I even quite enjoyed the third one a number of times. And it is a great franchise. It's kind of disappointing that when there are so many franchises in Hollywood that are being pursued, they're actually not quite as good. This is one I think is a universe that is rife for some really interesting ideas. And again, you can play with the time element. You can play with whether you want to keep it on Earth or take it into space. Lots of different things that you can do. So I'm really interested to see this. I'm more excited about this as a spin-off, even though we don't know a huge amount of details at the moment, rather than the 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street Men in Black crossover.
Well, I don't know. I don't know
fun.
if that's happening.
That I don't think is going to happen now.
Yeah.
But this, I would genuinely like. There's more room to do things with this. I think.
I mean, it can't be two men. I'll tell you that right now, which is why
I would say a man and a woman or two women.
I think it'll be a man and a woman.
Yeah.
If there's only two, I mean, who knows? There could be 3 or 4 leads. But yeah, it's definitely not going to be 2 guys.
No.
So I think that's why they're not calling it, like, it doesn't have a title. It's known as the Men in Black spinoff, but that's not a title because I don't think it's going to be Men in Black. F. Gary Gray, solid choice. He also did, I forgot about Straight Outta Compton, how successful that was. I think that, it indicates a sort of like, the big budget sort of action heavy direction this may be going. Less, because he doesn't really have that much of a well, I guess he did Friday. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like comedy. He hasn't done a comedy in a long time, but he did fucking Friday, so I guess I should shut up.
Comedic moments in, or lighter moments in, things like Fast and Furious 7. So I think that kind of that banter between characters he can handle.
No, you're right.
Certainly, set pieces for action are as important, and he's proved that he can do that.
It's definitely a good choice. Really good. A lot of studios would love to be in business with F. Gary Gray, and for Sony to go out and get him, kudos to them. Is there anybody who you would like to see donning the black shades?
Well, we've mentioned her already. I would love to see, off the back of her performance in Black Panther alone, and having seen her in Black Mirror, Letitia.
Really?
I would really like to see her, but not as one of the leads. I would like to see her as like maybe the number 2 or the number 3, the rookie, that kind of thing.
I think she'd make a good villain, actually.
Ooh, potentially.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to have a female villain because they haven't. Did they do that in the second one?
I don't know. If you're asking me to remember details from Men in Black 2.
I think, as far as.
No, who would you want to see as the leads? I mean, Letitia was obviously wonderful. She's not going to be the lead in fucking Men in Black.
I would say if we go with a man and a woman, I would be very interested to see. Let me have a think about this for a second. No, you go first. I'm gonna have a think about
Sony
this.
there's one actress who Sony always covets, and that's Emma Stone. You don't think you don't think you could see her?
Not quite. Not quite for me.
Okay.
Should be an interesting choice.
Would
but
you?
I don't.
Okay, well, for the guy, would you rather have somebody like Tom Hiddleston or Idris Elba?
I would go someone Tom Hiddleston. I think also could be quite fun is someone if you went down the inept route, someone like a Martin Freeman, kind of number 2, as one of the male. Really? See, I think if he was
Martin Freeman as the lead in Men in Black,
as one of the leads in Men in Black, because if they have
the male lead, you're saying the male lead, Martin Freeman.
I think that could be interesting.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
You asked for my opinion. You get my opinion.
But it's
Paul Rudd.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Sure. There you go. You could see Paul Rudd. Can you really see Martin Freeman as the lead in a big movie like Men in Black? That's the only reason I'm giving you shit for it. It's not that it's a bad creative choice. It's that would never fucking happen.
It would not be the first time that someone who is not A-level actor has been given a lead role in a major movie.
I suppose.
It's not
that would be a stretch. Speaking of Sony, we'll move it along, Simon. Sorry for busting your balls on that one. TriStar, Sony's TriStar label, doing a Mr. Rogers movie called what is it? You Are My Friend.
That's correct. Yeah.
I'm like, won't you be my neighbor? No. You are my friend.
Well, I thought it would have been
not a
called.
question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's isn't that the name of the documentary that was at Sundance? I believe.
Oh, could have been
my neighbor.
Yeah.
So Tom Hanks is going to play Mr. Rogers. Now, is that perfect casting or is that too on the nose? Is it like, wow, they didn't have to think for more than 2 seconds about that one?
Yeah. When I saw this could have broke quite early this week. I think it's a good casting choice. I think it's a little bit obvious.
A little obvious, yeah.
A little obvious. And he's also done a couple of things kind of like
Walt Disney.
Walt Disney.
The same person.
Captain Phillips. I'm kind of like, he's played...
It's Captain Phillips, like Mr. Rogers.
No. I'm not saying it's like Mr. Rogers, but he's done a number of these where he plays real people. And I'm just kind of like, it just seems to be a lot of... Hey, let's get Tom Hanks to play the real person.
Guy.
Yeah.
The Post is a real guy.
Catch Me If You Can was a real guy. Terminal was a real guy.
Jesus.
Just see.
Oh my God, you're frightening me.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, Splash. No, wasn't a real guy. Bachelor Party, not a real guy. But yeah, I think he'll do a great job, and I think he definitely looks like he fits the role. The Post was a real guy. I just kind of would have liked to have seen perhaps something a little bit more creative, but he is someone that will probably sell tickets.
Yeah, Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers is a pretty irresistible combination.
Yeah.
And you can bet that will be in contention, for Oscars or whatever. And the interesting thing about this, and I couldn't get this confirmed, and I'll write a story about it when the time is appropriate. But the rumor is that David Oyelowo would star opposite him as the journalist, even though the journalist was white in real life. I heard that they may be changing because I think actually in the description that was sent out, it's like the story is inspired by his friendship with Tom Junod or whatever, but it doesn't say that the movie's actually about that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. I think they're going to change the name of the journalist, but we'll see. That is an unconfirmed rumor as of now.
It'll probably be a quality product, but I just kind of creatively would have been Do something like you did with the journalist, something a little bit different. But I guess
All I know, it's like
Can't go too different.
maybe they're waiting because David Oyelowo has that Gringo movie that's coming out this year, and he's also in the Cloverfield movie that we're going to talk about shortly.
We are going to talk about that.
So it's like that could be a good year or that could be a not so good year.
Yeah.
That could go either way. We'll have to wait and see.
Just going back very briefly to talking about Men in Black, a couple of people in the chat have been making suggestions. Ed Douglas has said Don Draper. So obviously John Hamm.
John Hamm would be
quite good.
John Hamm's a good realistic choice. That's actually not bad.
Zayas has said Keith Powers, Kofi Serbo. I'm not familiar with either of those people, I don't think. Or Trevante Rhodes would be to replace
Yeah, he
Will.
was hilarious in Moonlight.
Yeah, and 12 Strong.
No, none of those are
Jason Mitchell and Michelle Rodriguez.
You got to think of like a studio executive. Like they're just like I just need realism in these conversations.
Don Draper, Kevin Hart,
Michelle Rodriguez. Did somebody say?
Yeah, Jason Mitchell and Michelle Rodriguez. Edward Douglas is saying Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. Please no. I mean, I enjoyed La La Land, but I don't want to see that pairing again. Michael B. Jordan. That's from Salty127.
Michael B. Jordan would be a good call.
Yeah, Tiffany Haddish would be great.
That's like I don't know if guys like Michael B. Jordan, even Idris Elba, if they'd want to do that, or if they'd feel like they're just kind of like doing what Will did before them.
Bruce Willis and Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish would be great.
Yeah. I'd like to see, talking about villains, I'd love to see her as the villain. Ryan Gosling and Daniel Kaluuya in Men in Black reboot. Interesting.
Kaluuya is not a bad call for Men in Black.
Yeah,
those all work.
Interesting. Zoe Saldana, Naomi Harris, Taraji P. Henson, Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson wouldn't be in the running for that. And The Rock and Channing Tatum from Xeno Hour. I think that's too obvious. And The Rock, I don't. They're looking at starting.
Channing would be good.
Yeah. So, Kerry Washington, Tandy Newton, Kat Graham. Yeah, there's a few in here. Trevante Rhodes and Joe McHale. I think that says Sky Patterson put that in the chat.
Joe McHale. Not bad.
I think actually that's Joe McHale has hacked Sky's account and is now posting in the chat.
I can see that
it's
maybe,
not, it's not the most ludicrous thing, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Trevante Rhodes. Men in Black, no.
Yeah, no.
Let's hop over to Universal.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about that.
Cowboy and Ninja Viking.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt lured Michelle McLaren to direct. That's got to be a coup for this movie, right? This would actually be, and it seems like I've been writing stories about her for the last 3 or 4 years about her directorial debut. This is going to be her directorial debut.
Yeah.
After all that talk. She beat out Jennifer Yu Nelson and apparently Rick Famuyiwa. But I'd heard it was between Michelle and Jennifer. And it's great to see, that women are up for these huge gigs and that, Universal pulled the trigger on this one. That Chris Pratt really led the push.
Yep.
Or so I'm told, for a female director. Yeah. What do you think?
No, great. I mean, this is a film in itself that I'm not particularly. It's setting a little alarm bells off for me. I don't know if it's going to be a little bit too kind of zany. I don't know. I'm not feeling it right now. But she is a great call for this. A great call. So.
Yeah, I don't know what.
But then again, I thought Guardians of the Galaxy sounded like the worst idea ever.
A tree and a raccoon.
Yeah, I just thought it was the worst idea ever, and then it turned out to be one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't really like any of these character types. Like, I don't like cowboy movies. I don't like ninja movies. I don't really like Viking movies.
Yeah, it's all of these things like Cowboys versus Aliens, ninja blah, blah, blah. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, zombies versus hookers, whatever the fuck they're doing this week. I'm just kind of like zombies.
I guess I'm with you on that front, but it does sound crazy. I think Michelle McLaren needs something where she can be a little loose and have some room to get crazy, and not something that's so like rigid like a Wonder Woman, which she ended up leaving.
Yeah.
Plus, it's Chris Pratt. I don't know. Done the right way, this could be cool. I'm going to keep an open mind on this one, especially after the McLaren hiring. But yeah, you're right. It's not a project that's like, oh wow, I can't wait to see what happens.
No, it's going to be interesting how they sell this. But I'm open to be completely won over, like I was with things like Guardians as a good example, but also another Chris Pratt project. So we'll see.
Let's hop back to that Cloverfield thing.
Yeah.
So I put that out at Sundance, even though I got a tip basically, and then it was like I didn't get a response from Netflix, and
Right.
so I put it out there on Twitter, and then a couple days later, like Deadline did an article, and blah 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 blah. No one has responded yet. Netflix hasn't responded. I don't think Paramount has weighed in. The rumor is that we may see a trailer during the Super Bowl. Who knows? I don't think that. I think this is like a game changer in the sense that between this and Han Solo, like if Han Solo does in fact open in May on time, it's rewriting the entire rules of marketing.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to go so far out. People have such a short attention span. Why not just start the campaign a couple weeks in Cloverfield's case or a couple months in Han Solo's case before the movie comes out?
Well, no, I mean, I 100% agree. I mean, I wish we went back to the days where something would, be like in the 2 or 3 months before it runs out. That's when you start to see promo stuff. But I mean, a really good example of this is Sherlock Gnomes, which comes out in March, and I started seeing bus sides and bus seat backs for that in LA at the end of like October, November time, and I'm like, that is not even a huge movie, and people are pushing these things, and we see things like Star Wars.
When does that come out?
That comes out March.
Oh.
So it's not far away.
Yeah,
but that's still like a 6 month
are people
going
to remember that
no
poster 5 months later?
For me, I mean, I'm obviously not in marketing, but for me, the concern would be the fact that if you keep seeing it on buses, you keep driving past it, and you're driving through your cities and stuff like that, you think that film is out very soon. And by the time that movie comes out in 6 months' time, people are like, hasn't this been out? Is this on like Blu-ray or Netflix? Why can't I find this movie? And other movies have come along which are being released more urgently, which are going to be taking your financial eye away from your product. So I don't quite understand that. I think even though I don't particularly like it, I think you can start selling major movies like Star Wars movies a year in advance. I think that's way too far. But I don't think you can kind of have a 6 month lead on those smaller movies. That I just miss we've got a movie, it's January, we've got a movie coming out in March or April. January is when you see the first trailer. I kind of miss those days a little bit. I know it makes me sound really fucking old, but I am.
Let's take a step back, though, and look at the larger picture of Cloverfield moving from Paramount to Netflix.
Yeah.
What does this ultimately mean for that franchise? Like, is that done as a theatrical franchise?
I think if they go to Netflix, it's going to be difficult then to go back to theatrical unless they want to take a big risk, which is if we are concerned that it might not get bums on seats, because the second Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield, did pretty well.
Yeah.
It did,
so
it was. I'd be very surprised if they do maybe we'll take it to Netflix, get that audience, and then they'll come back for the next one.
The difference is the budget. And so that is sort of what, because, you hear Cloverfield and you just assume they're all of a certain aesthetic, and
also I want to see those movies on a big screen. If it's a big sci-fi thing, I'd rather see that on a big screen in a theater.
10 Cloverfield Lane played great on the big screen.
Yeah.
So 10 Cloverfield Lane, 110 million worldwide. Okay. So that means that the studio gets half of that.
Yep.
Right? 55. So it made sense. It was a hit because the movie only costs like $5 million or $10 million or something like that. This movie, the new one with David Oyelowo from Julius Ona, costs in the ballpark of 40. So when you're talking about 40 plus, you have to pay to market it in theaters, and let's say another 15, that's 55. You can't make a profit.
Yeah.
So that is why it looks like they've just like, at least again, this is the rumor. Nothing has been confirmed at this point that that Paramount just sold Cloverfield. So if it costs them 40 and they haven't paid for any marketing yet, which they haven't, we haven't seen any posters or trailers or anything like that. If they just paid for 40 for the movie and Netflix comes in with a $50 million check, says we'll take it off your hands for 50, you get a $10 million profit, just go away. I guess I'd do it if I was Paramount. They're clearing the books over there. The question is, what happens with Overlord, which is the next Cloverfield movie,
which is apparently already finished filming. It's a World War II thriller, so I think this is going to take us back. It's sort of along the Cloverfield timeline, which I'm very open to, and it could be interesting. I mean, then I think if it's been on Netflix, I think it'll be the third one has been on Netflix. It'll be difficult then to go back to having it as theatrical. This last one would probably. I mean, I don't know a huge amount about the current one, but I'm assuming with the budget and who's in it, the scope is going to be quite an epic thing.
What's this? It's an outer space thing. It's off of
the
Earth.
Fourth one would be for me currently logically where that would go, okay, we're going to put one on Netflix. I mean, it depends on whether they want to. I mean, we discussed this previously, and the idea's been floated about taking it away from doing feature movies and maybe doing TV series or, you know, limited seasons and potentially something like that. And that would lend itself more to Netflix.
I mean, I could totally see a Cloverfield series.
Yeah.
That would, like an anthology series, like a Twilight Zone or Outer Limits or something.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, actually. Hey, bring us in for a meeting, JJ. But
well, considering the popularity, again, of things like Black Mirror, where you can go dark.
Cloverfield 3, though, is stacked with this international cast. Like Yellow, Elizabeth Debicki, Daniel Bruhl, like these international stars. Cloverfield 4, Overlord, is not like that. It's Wyatt Russell, and that's kind of it. I don't even know if you'd actually one of the guys from Fences.
Okay.
So it's like, does that movie cost 5 or 10? And if so, does Paramount hang on to that, knowing it can turn a 10 Cloverfield Lane like profit with it? So we don't know if this Netflix deal encompasses just the one movie or two or what. I have no idea. The other thing is, it's like, man, Paramount, to get rid of these J.J. Abrams produced films, these are Bad Robot, like, doesn't speak great of that relationship, I don't think. I think that Paramount has to be somewhat steamed about J.J. doing not only Force Awakens, which they were steamed about, but now Episode 9. So it's like, you know, they have the deal with Paramount, and he's going to make movies for Disney, and now Paramount's just kind of kicking his movies to Netflix. Yeah, very interesting. I don't know if that whole story has been told yet.
I mean, I'm looking, you know, both of these Cloverfield products I'm looking forward to. You know, I do enjoy it, and like you say, you know, it'd be great to see them do some more things for it, and I think they could do that on the small screen. That would totally lend itself to. But I think, if you know, like we say, if it goes to Netflix, it might be harder to then, but financially, that fourth one going to the big screen would make more financial sense. It's certainly an interesting model right now, and I think a lot of other studios are going to be looking at it. But bottom line, at the end of the day, Paramount need a fucking hit. They've not had a bona fide runaway hit that's given them positive,
well, it was a rough
very
fall.
clear
It was
bank.
a rough fall with Suburbicon and Downsizing and Mother.
And they have Mission Impossible coming out, you know,
which
soon,
I can't wait for.
Which I think that'll be bank for them.
Real
but
quickly,
they haven't had a movie that's brought bank.
That was on my list of things to talk about. Do you like the title? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, I do.
Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah,
I like it too.
Yeah, it's strong and it's quite ambiguous. I like it.
But it's like a real thing. It's not like Ghost Protocol. It's not like something fucking kind of goofy. Yeah. Even though I love all those Mission Impossible movies, I really like the Mission Impossible franchise in general.
Mission Impossible Donkey Punch.
Yeah, but Mission Impossible Fallout, I like that it's one word, that it's like a short word, that it's like there's action and consequence to that word.
Yeah,
it's a good title. Simon, let's talk about what you wanted to talk about. Guys, they give me the one co-host here at AfterBuzz at Popcorn Talk Network or whatever, who wants a friggin' Crank universe.
I think it's a great idea.
It's him and the director of Crank who want this.
It is.
Elaborate, please.
Yeah, okay. So the co-director, Brian Taylor, basically did an interview this week, and in which he said that he would be open and would want a Crank cinematic universe. So first two Crank movies, Jason Statham, really good, slightly mental action movies. To have a universe formed around those two films may or may not include Jason Statham. I think it would be good to
How do you have a Crank universe without Jason Statham?
Because then you have other people in this similar situation. I mean, okay, they've tried...
similar situation.
I will... Similar situation. But, no, but I think you could. I think you could take it in lots... I mean, now, they have tried to take a Jason Statham vehicle and push it off in other directions with other people previously, like the Transporter franchise and stuff
Bring
like that.
Ed Skrein.
Did not work. That was not a particularly good product. But I think within the Crank universe, the Crankiverse, I don't know.
The
Crankiverse. I think you can actually do some fun things in the similar way you could do with things like John Wick. There are certain action franchises, I think, that you can actually build a really nice little world around it and either have it as movies or, you know, as TV or, again, rife for things like Netflix.
I liked the Crank movies just fine. I just don't... I think that they are of their moment, you know, and I think that moment has passed, so I am all set on a Crank universe, but hey, more power to you.
I'll see you at the screening, my friend.
Did you see Mom and Dad?
No.
That's from the director of Crank, right? I think it is. Yeah,
could be.
Brian Taylor. Yeah.
No, that's the one you walked out of, right?
I did walk out of that one in Toronto.
I have not
I was
seen
like, what is going on right now?
No.
Let's talk about Dumbledore.
Okay, let's talk about it. Fantastic Beasts. There was a story this week. Apparently, the sequel to Fantastic Beasts is going to ignore Dumbledore's sexuality. Apparently, there's
How dare they?
well, I'm just kind of thinking.
Wanted a whole orgy.
But we have not. It was never really referenced in the Harry Potter movies. It was certainly never a thing. It obviously wasn't referenced in Fantastic Beasts. So I'm like, while obviously, if you have a character that is LGBTQ and it is important, absolutely mention it. But if it hasn't actually featured anywhere else, to shoehorn it in, to me, would kind of be counterproductive.
Guys, this was always
it's
a
also
ridiculous
Fantastic
thing.
Beasts. It's not, as you say, it's not exactly like we're going to see him, popping off for a rim job or something. It's not going to have a sexual
First
content.
of all, rim jobs are for heterosexuals as well, just
That
to
is
be
true.
clear.
That is true. Everybody can enjoy that.
What does being gay in a studio franchise film even mean these days? It means like a furtive glance or like a holding of hands. Like there's
well, it's like last year with Beauty and the Beast when they were saying there's a gay moment. I was like,
exactly.
Which one?
Exactly. This is what I don't understand. It's
But
like
even if they put it in, I don't see why
I want real representation, not this lip service
Tokenism.
representation.
Yeah.
Where it's like I feel like David Yates is like he's not gay anywhere in the movie Dumbledore.
No.
But he's like, oh yeah, everybody knows that. Oh yeah, Dumbledore's gay. But like
And
it's
if
not
he
in the
is,
text.
That's absolutely fine. I don't, I certainly don't have a problem. To me, I'd be like, why are you shoehorning it in?
But it's like this back padding, like yeah, we have a gay character.
But also then,
But
also then, if it's a prequel movie, if you reference his sexuality and it's like, okay, fine, if he had a partner or something, but then it's never ever mentioned again in the movies that come after it, that just doesn't quite fit. That doesn't quite work. Do you know what I mean? It's front loading.
I don't know why the people making this movie are sort of playing into it and then only to ultimately disrespect it. And I don't know what the fans are expecting to be in there.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing. I'm just like...
It just means all the breath that you've wasted these last few months talking about it is for nothing.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me.
Okay, changing tack completely.
Yes.
Super Mario movie, an animated movie.
I didn't even see this week. I missed this.
It's not, unfortunately, the Bob Hoskins reboot with John Leguizamo.
I know. I would love to see
Which,
those guys.
do you know what? It's a terrible movie, but there's actually little bits about that I quite enjoy. It's going to be from Illumination. They're doing a new Super Mario animated movie. It's in the works, which I think is actually a great idea. I've never been the biggest fan of say, Super Mario and stuff like that, but I trust Illumination. They've done great things.
Did you grow up playing Sonic the fucking Hedgehog?
No, what's happened to that Sonic movie, by the way? No, I mean, I like computer games. It was a big, part of my pop culture thingy, but I've never really felt a particular, affinity to it. Yeah, I played Mario Kart and stuff. It's great fun.
Mario is great.
But I think as an animated movie, and I think with Illumination behind it, could actually be, I think
it's a perfect fit.
It's a really good fit.
I can see it now. I can see the movie in my head.
And also with the rumors
Congratulations, Illumination. Another hit.
Yeah, no, it's like there's $1 billion for you right there.
Yeah.
But I think also it's because Universal are rumored to be adding some Super Mario elements to some of their theme parks around the world. Again, it's kind of like one of those add-on things. I'm like, this is just.
Can we get a real approximation of Mario Kart? Super Mario Kart.
What, real approximation?
Or Mario Kart 64.
What, like live action?
Yes, like
Death
a fucking
race.
like I want to race on Rainbow Road at Disneyland.
Ooh.
That would be sick. Hook that shit up, Universal.
That'd be sweet.
Netflix did a deal with Luc Besson's Europa Corps.
For a multi-picture deal.
Oh, wow. Taken 5, Taken 6, Taken 7.
Yeah. Do you know what? People would watch that. People are watching the Taken TV show.
They should do a whole TV show of The Professional. Do The Professional as a TV show.
Yeah.
Called it Matilda.
That'd be pretty kick-ass.
Yeah. I mean, I'm full of great ideas here today, guys. Make me as an executive.
So are you saying now that an action movie universe around a movie is actually...
Yeah. A good, an actual good movie. Not,
action movie,
not
right,
Jason
okay.
Statham's fucking crank movie.
China O'Brien cinematic universe. Action Jackson.
I'm like, make a TV series about The Professional. You're like, oh, well, what about Crank? They are not on the same level.
No, but they are both great in their own way.
Sure.
They're all special All these film children, they're all special in their own way. But yeah, no, I think that, for me, I think that's actually a really good idea because obviously Luke, a couple of his movies have not exactly done particularly well at the box office, yet they still have an audience.
Let me tell you what
so
you
I
do,
think that would be
Simon.
quite good.
You ready? You ready for this?
Yeah.
You make an animated Valerian series.
Yeah.
Valerian. Yeah. You just did the hard work of making the American public semi-familiar with this IP. It's obviously not getting a live-action sequel.
Yep.
Make an animated series. You have a zillion stories to draw from. Thank you very much.
Good idea. Sign that shit up.
Emily Blunt, landing the female lead in Jungle Cruise. This is something like Kroll's fucking killing me this week. Kroll, you're fucking killing me this week. These are all stories that I knew about heading into Sundance and then just did not look into. I was too busy at the festival. So yeah, I was not surprised to learn that Emily Blunt got the lead in Jungle Cruise. Good for her. That's a nice get for Disney. Her and Dwayne Johnson.
A second major movie with Disney.
Yeah, pretty intriguing pairing. You're right. She's in Mary Poppins.
Is there going to be a third? Could we see
Mary Poppins too?
Could we see the Blunt trilogy at Disney? The Blunt cinematic universe.
I like that.
At Disney.
Yep. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Jungle Cruise. I feel like I was reading some article somewhere about how Jumanji would affect Jungle Cruise or something like that. No. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, hey, time is of the essence. The Rock is just hot.
And in a Venn diagram of cinematic stuff, I think there is an overlap, but I don't think they're.
Rock has Rampage and Skyscraper this year, man.
Big.
Sam Raimi got the job of directing the King Killer Chronicles or something like that. Sounds like fantasy mumbo jumbo that I won't be terribly interested in.
But nice to have Sam back.
Yeah, it is. What happened to his Bermuda Triangle movie?
Yeah.
All these Bermuda Triangle movies get so fucking close to starting and then they disappear.
It's almost like a mystery.
Dun, dun, dun. King Killer Chronicle boasts a script from Lin-Manuel Miranda involved in it?
Yeah. He was
script or is he doing the music? I don't know. Yeah, neither do I. But
tell you what this needs. What's that? A song? Does it?
Just the title of it. I'm like, I don't know.
Halloween started production. We saw this on Twitter. She was posting. There was a picture of Jamie Lee Curtis on the set, and they used the original clapperboard from the first Halloween movie, which I did, have a little nerd squeeze.
I am jealous of our pal Ryan Turek, who gets to be on set for that one. Still very curious to see what the direction is. Nobody knows what the story is. They're just like, well, it's a sequel to this one.
But it's out in October.
But it's a sequel to this one. But yeah, it'll be out shortly, so be patient. I have the utmost faith in this team since David Gordon Green directed my favorite film last year, Stronger. So go Halloween.
Now, we talked about this at the top of the show, Bad Boys. We touched on this. Martin Lawrence.
That's right. Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah.
Yes. Who you probably will not know. They are a directing pair. So Bad Boys for Life is looking to start filming this August. So I'm assuming they're going to be looking at a 2019
Do you know how long I've heard that Bad Boys 3 is looking to start production? Do you know how many years?
I've interviewed Jerry Bruckheimer dozens of times over the last 10 years, and every single time it's been, but don't worry, we're still working on it, it's close. When I spoke to him most recently for 12 Strong, he did seem more positive that this was going to be happening. Like he said just before Top Gun 2 got announced.
These are the same guys that he chose to direct Beverly Hills Cop 4 as well.
Yes.
Another movie that I don't think you'll be seeing anytime soon.
But he likes the direction. He likes the ideas that they've got for this. They chatted just a couple of weeks ago.
Even seeing Martin Lawrence at the Black Panther premiere, I'm like, wow, this guy's going to be the fucking co-lead in a big franchise action movie. Well, I just don't. I mean, they're going to obviously have to find a way to pass the torch to another generation of bad boys.
We assume that he's going to be. He might not have as big a parts. He might be.
Maybe he's like the captain who's behind he's the Joey Pantoliano, and now it's Will Smith
and his new
Martin Lawrence's son or something, or his nephew. I have no idea what it's going to be. These guys, LRB and Fala, they did this movie Black, which I think it was at Toronto last year. Jerry Bruckheimer must have seen it and loved it since he hired him for 2 fucking movies. But yeah, Jerry, between these 2 long-delayed sequels that I'm not sure that there's a real appetite for. Like, I'd see fucking Joe Carnahan's Bad Boys 3.
Yeah.
And Top Gun 2, it's just like, Jerry, find something else, baby, honey.
Yeah, no, Don Draper was saying that he was very interested when Joe Carnahan was going to be directing. Me too. But I do like Bad Boys.
He's playing his greatest hits. It's like Jerry just going back and doing the golden oldies. I don't know.
If it can put bums on seats, that's very much what studios are into. You know, they want these.
The question
popcorn...
is, listen again with Tom Rothman. He did Dark Tower for $60 million. So even though that movie wasn't a hit, it didn't kill the studio.
Yeah.
If you figure out a way to make Bad Boys for 60 to 80 million,
yeah,
you're looking good. But if it's costing you 125, I don't know if it's worth it.
Nope.
I broke a story this week about Clint Eastwood. We have 5 minutes left in the show, so we're gonna hustle. Clint Eastwood directing this movie, The Mule. Yeah, I'm told that is definitely in the works over at Warner Brothers. He'd be playing the true story of a 90-year-old drug courier, which is kind of crazy to think about. Clint Eastwood, you know, since he's this huge Republican, doing this movie that's about drug smuggling. But I don't know, could be cool. Different kind of role for him. He definitely needs to move off of like the heroic rah-rah stuff. I'm looking forward to 1517 to Paris.
I'm seeing that on Tuesday.
Oh, you got an invite already?
Yeah, I'm reviewing it for IGN.
Oh, okay. Well, la-di-da.
I didn't get an invite otherwise, so...
Yeah, I know a lot of people have already seen it. Warner Brothers, not me.
There was a junket last week.
Well, look at that. But I've heard mixed things.
Yeah, It's not a movie that I'm particularly excited about. I'm going in there with a very open mind. But from what I've seen so far in trailers and stuff like that, I'm like, okay. I think this is going to be fine for me. But I'll see. I'm open to being.
Jennifer Hudson cast as Aretha Franklin, or Aretha Franklin wants Jennifer Hudson to play her. RESPECT. Mike Flanagan directing a Dr. Sleep movie.
Yes, very excited about this. I like Mike's work.
Yeah, you know, I did not to start, but his work has grown on me. Hush and what he did with Gerald's Game. He has earned my respect, Mike Flanagan. So,
but also the Ouija movie that he did was a considerable improvement.
Right,
on the
everybody
one.
Did say that,
and
so
it's actually a good horror movie.
I'll give him credit.
Yeah.
Also, Before I Wake recently came out on Netflix, and that's Mike Flanagan.
It did. I wasn't a massive fan of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw it. It was decent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are hoping for better than decent from Dr. Sleep, considering it's a fucking sequel to The Shining.
Yeah.
Trevor Groth, for those in the industry who know him, he was a big programmer at Sundance. He was there for 25 years. He's heading to 30 West. The Blake Lively movie, the rhythm section shut down. Her hand is all fucked up, man.
Yeah. That's the medical.
Her hand. She got diagnosed with a fucked up hand.
Hey, doctor,
dude.
what's wrong? It's fucked up.
That hopefully will resume in about 5 months or so. Octavia Spencer and Tate Taylor reuniting. They work together on The Help. They're doing a Blumhouse movie called Ma that I hear could be pretty crazy.
I hope it's got her.
That's another one that I fucking knew.
Insane.
And then John Krasinski's A Quiet Place opening South by Southwest. That movie looks awesome.
Yeah, it does.
Of course, the big question, as I raised over on the tracking board, is whether we will see a sneak peek at Ready Player One, which comes out at the end of March. South by Southwest would kind of be the perfect time to debut it. Sundance, I went. I saw, there were some good movies. I actually didn't see a lot of crap. Normally see a lot of these crappy little Sundance movies, but there wasn't a lot of them. It was a decent festival. There was just no breakout hit.
Right.
But the best things that I saw were Jason Reitman's Tully with Charlize Theron. If you like young adult, you'll check that one out. The horror movie Hereditary. Believe the Hype. Believe the Buzz. That shit's fucked up. And the best thing I saw was the documentary Three Identical Strangers about triplets who are separated at birth, guys. Oh my God, check that one out. It is quite the story. I don't know when we're gonna get a Han Solo trailer. Simon, any insight?
Apparently Monday. It's not going to be Super Bowl. I was reading today that it might be Monday.
Yeah, but you might see a little something of the Super Bowl hyping the Monday thing. Like apparently, tune into Good Morning America tomorrow, right?
Yeah, possibly you might, but Good Morning America is where they're going to debut.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we'll see.
There were trailers this week for.
That's not the first one they've done and debuted there. So
Ant-Man and the Wasp. What'd you think of that one?
Really like that trailer.
Really wanted to see Michelle Pfeiffer in it though.
Yeah.
There was a Hereditary trailer, a Mute trailer, the Duncan Jones movie that's going to be on Netflix.
Deep Blue Sea 2. It looks awful.
There's going to be more Cat in the Hat. Charlie Kaufman's doing a thriller for Netflix called I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Yep.
And Casey Affleck not presenting at the Oscars. I have a lot to say about that one, but unfortunately...
Time is up!
We're out of time, folks. Saving me from one long rant. Simon, where can the good folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Showbiz Simon. There's also a Facebook page. This is Simon Thompson, and please check out my work on Forbes, among others.
And I'm Jeff Snider, editor-in-chief of the tracking board, tracking-board.com. We're going to be debuting a column from Jeff. Oh, the music is on. Sorry, Jeff Yang.
It's like the awards. Come on,
yeah.
just thank everybody and fuck off.
Yeah, at the Snider.
I'd like to thank my
Thanks
mother.
for reading
It was awesome. My friends, my gardener.
Popcorn Talk Network. Have a good weekend.
Everybody.
Woo!
I'm going to buy Dave Matthews
From
tickets.
producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.